Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I am here once again with my web designer, Teresa Schlup of Caffeine Creative, and we are here today to talk about the key to standing out and building long-term success. Such an important topic, as always. I think all our topics are important, but this one, I mean, so many businesses go out within the first 3 years. I mean, I don't even know what the percentage is right now. So I think 9 or 10 years in this business, but 17 years before that in my previous business. How do you build long-term success in your opinion?
So this is one people are going to be like, oh my God, I don't want to hear this again. But hands down, this is the truth. And that is through consistent branding and personal connections. You have got to really show up and live your brand. And so that's one of the things that I want to talk about. When we talk about branding, people think of branding as my logo and my color scheme. And that is a tiny, tiny piece of your branding.
Yeah.
Your branding, honestly, and I think it's Jeff Bezos who says this, and don't quote me totally on that, but I think it's his quote, I'm kind of paraphrasing, is your brand is what people say about you when you leave the room.
Yes.
And it's so true. So really think about who you want to be, who you want your clients to see. What do you want them to say about you when you leave the room? And how do you personify that and put that into your marketing? That is the key to me when it comes to standing out and putting it into every aspect of your business. Okay.
Yeah, and it can get exhausting. I mean, like when you're talking, I think how I started out this business, I was trying to show my personality, distinguish myself. I started doing every single week. I think I did it for 2 or 3 years. I want to go back and look actually. I did weekend wine down,
Yep.
right? I would
Yep,
drink
I
wine,
remember.
you would drink wine, and I would interview people. And
Yep.
that's how I made the consistent connections also that helped me grow my business.
Well, and coffee was an accident. So I'm the caffeine creative, and my brand is all about coffee. As a web designer, as I bring in the coffee color, the coffee feels. You'll see pictures of me sipping coffee, all of that. That happened by accident because I was doing something very similar before you and I met. I had what was it? Coffee time inspirations. And I would
Okay, I
hop
love
on
it.
and do a video, coffee time inspirations. And I'd be like, okay, have a cup of coffee with me and let's chat about life and business and web design. And I started building that. Well, then that went into creating from there because coffee became my thing. I started creating this visual harmony. And you kind of did the same thing too, as well. So that wine, you had those colors of luxury, the gold and the blue and things like that. And it
Yes.
kind of tied in. So we started creating this visual harmony, this cohesive brand into what we both created. And I don't even know if you realized consciously what you were doing, but
I
that's
didn't.
kind of how it went, just played out naturally because it was real and it was authentic. And that's why
Yes.
it rolled.
Right.
But your logos, your colors, design elements, the things we put into your website way back then kind of tied into that luxury aspect of the weekend wind down that you were building your brand on.
Yes.
So visual harmony is doing that. So think about who you want to show up, who you want to be, how do you want to be appeared, what kind of face do you want to be in the room, and how can you personify that in the things that you do? For me, this coffee, like this colored sweater, I have a lot of things. This is naturally me. You can see the artwork on my wall and things like that. Like my house, my favorite
Nature
color is
tones.
fall. Yes,
Yeah.
it's fall is what I say. My favorite color is.
Yeah.
But I naturally put that into everything that I do. So I'm creating this visual harmony in my brand. And no matter where you see me, you're probably going to see me like exactly as you do right now in this moment with earthy things.
Yeah.
So key number one, when it comes to that consistent personal connection, is creating visual harmony based on who you want to be and what people you want people to say about you.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
silence that phone.
really, really key to
Yes.
show up as truly who you are. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm very, you know me, I'm casual sometimes. This is me.
Sure.
I am not an interior designer that I'm always worried about exactly what to wear at every time. Like they're visual. So they're
Yeah.
selling their visual selves all the time because interior
Yeah.
design is a visual creative career and craft, right? For me, as a business coach, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I'm just casual just to get it done. And it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. It's the words that come out of my mouth to you and to everyone else I'm coaching to say,
Yeah.
this is the direction you have to go in, and it doesn't matter what I'm wearing.
But I would say too, the way that you dress is very much part of your brand because you want to be that approachable coach. You
Yeah.
want to be approachable. You want to be able to give people the words of wisdom that you have to offer in a no nonsense way. And if you showed up in these high end suits and all of this, you wouldn't be as approachable.
Right. My ideal client is a lot like me, where in their free time, as interior designers, in their free time, they just want to let their hair down and have a good time and wear jeans and sneakers and go for a walk and do some simple things.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're showing up, you're creating that visual thing. The next thing, though, to keep in mind too, is that tone and voice. And this is one that is really hard for a lot of people new in business because you want to be polished and you want to be professional and you want to have this, almost like term paper writing from high school is like stuck in our brains from when we had to write these, boring blah professional things. But tone and voice are so powerful when it comes to creating that personal connection and that consistent brand. I'm always like, you'll see if you get my letters or, all my emails that I send out every week, I'm like, I record them. And I always start off with, well, hello, my friend, or something like that. Hey, my friend, because I'm recording it for my whole audience. So I can't call you out by name. But that is who I am. I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Yes.
I'm very casual. I'm very relaxed. My tone of voice is very real. And I don't have to put on a special persona to show up as me because this is who I am. If you met me at the grocery store, I'd be like, hey, how's it going? If you hop on a video call with me to talk about your website, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I am the same person all the time. So tone and voice are powerful. And in the world we're living in today, people aren't looking for polished, perfect term paper writing. In fact, we're bored by that kind of stuff. We don't want it. We would rather have something that's maybe not perfectly grammatically correct, but very clear, real, and authentic.
Absolutely.
So tone and voice.
So as an interior designer, when they're reading your emails, your social media posts, listening to videos, if you do videos, looking at your website, all your branding should be who you really are, who you're going to be when you walk in that door the first time.
Exactly. Because here's what's happened. Let's say that you go with this more polished version of yourself you think you're supposed to be. And somebody's like, okay, that's who I want to work with. And they get on a video call with you, or they have you come in for a consultation, or whatever the case is. They finally get an opportunity to meet and have a conversation with you. And you're a completely different person.
Yeah.
Now they're not sure who you are.
Yeah.
And they're not sure they can trust that.
Yeah.
If they can't trust that, like that you've got to back to the like, know, and trust factor. They feel like they know you, and now you show up as somebody different. It's not comfortable at all. You've probably lost that client. So that's why you just have to be yourself in all things that you're doing. And it can be very polished and especially your high end. If you're working with, high end luxury clients and yachts and expats and things like that all around the world, that is who you are. You are polished. You are showing up as that amazing, incredible person who can walk that walk and live in that life of luxury.
The bottom line is everyone is different. Be yourself, present as yourself, and you will attract the people who want to work with you. If you're trying to be someone else in order to create a business that's on a false persona, usually those are the businesses that will fold.
100%.
Because you can't
100%.
keep up being fake forever. It's just not going to work.
You can't. And I will say early on in my business, and you may have experienced too, I would try to be what I thought I was supposed to be, what I thought I had to be. And I would try and show up as this. It wasn't real and authentic. And every touch point that we have with our potential clients matters. So every email that we send out, every social media post that we put, every video that we do, every phone conversation, all of those things matter. If you're trying to pretend you're somebody else, there's no way you can keep that up in every single touch point of your marketing. And all of those things are marketing. It's all getting out there and getting to know your person.
It's true. When I went through the branding process, and I know we've talked about this before, the branding company asked me things like, if you invited 3 people to dinner, alive or dead, intimate dinner party where you can have deep conversation, who would it be? I wasn't thinking, what do they want me to say? I just said what I wanted, what I really wanted, right?
Yes.
And that mattered. And when I went through the Pinterest branding boards to see what did I really like, it was just natural, like this, hate this, hate this. Like truly being yourself, not doing it like, what do people want to see?
And every time I've had a client who is trying to insist on what people want to see,
Yes.
and I've had this happen probably 4 times in the last 2 years, will get their brand going. We're working on their branding, and they're like, I think because this is my niche, this is the colors I should use, and I should do this, and I should do that, and I should do that. And we're like, okay, we present the brand, and they absolutely hate it.
Because it's all the shoulds.
It's all the shoulds. It doesn't resonate with them. And if it doesn't resonate with them, it's not going to resonate with their clients. So that's when I know when I go to that meeting, they're going to hate what I'm offering them. I absolutely know it. And I kind of do it on purpose and with a little bit, not joy may not be the right thing, but I know when I present what they think they should be and they hate it, then they're going to be open to what they really want. I usually come with what I think they're going to like, as well as what I know they're going to hate, so that I'm like, okay, so here's what you asked for. And I can tell they hate it. And I'm like, here's what I think would fit better. And because it's them, it's the real them. And that
Yes,
is what resonates. And that's the powerful thing.
that makes
So
sense.
yeah. So it really does go back to creating those personal connections and doing so with a consistent branding. And I wanted to give some tips on things to do this because it's not all websites. Branding is everything, honestly. It's who you are. It's what people say about you when you leave a room. And so I wanted to share some tips and things to think about when it comes to making those decisions, because knowing this clearly is going to help you make the decision on your brand, your logo, your website, your messaging, your social media, you're blogging or not blogging or portfolio, and all the
Everything.
things.
Yeah.
It leads to all of it. Okay. So the first thing is to share your knowledge with enthusiasm. Put yourself in the place of being a go-to expert. Don't just be like, I'm an interior designer and I like to do luxury designs. Like, come out and be bold and be excited about what you're having to offer. We don't remember the dormouse sitting in the back of the room. We remember the bold people who speak up and share their knowledge with passion and with enthusiasm. So do
I'm going to
that.
say, even for introverts, you have an opinion. You're just
You
afraid to
have
say
an
it
opinion.
sometimes.
And here's something, most people are very shocked by this, but I actually am an introvert. I am in the world of like introvert, extrovert, there's a whole bunch of research and stuff like that. And I'm now, I think the phrase they've coined, I'm an outgoing introvert. When I get done with my videos, when I get done doing my things, working with my clients, my husband and I live on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere, and I am happiest here. I just spent the weekend baking cupcakes and macarons and having fun by myself with my dogs and my husband,
That's how you get your energy.
and recharging my energy. So don't use that excuse, well, I'm an introvert, I can't do what you do, Teresa. I am an introvert as well, 100%. But I love what I do and I share that passion willingly and freely. And that's what you need to do to stand out.
Absolutely. Okay.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yep. Some other things. So draft a marketing plan. Think about how you want to show up, how you want to be, and where your people are. That marketing plan doesn't have to be, I'm going to do all these things on social media, or I'm going to do video, or I'm going to do this. It's how you're comfortable. How are you comfortable showing up? Doing video was something that has been powerful for me, but I had to get comfortable doing it. So
Yeah.
start where you're comfortable and grow and build from there, and develop your marketing plan based on where your people are at and where you can show up effectively, not just a checkbox that you have to do.
Right.
Because if you do awkward, uncomfortable videos, I can show you some of my old ones. You'll laugh at them.
Me too. Me too.
Yep. I remember my very first video was was when I was a life coach, facing your fears. And my fear was to do a video. I spent 8 hours doing this 5-minute video.
Oh
I
my God.
cried. It was a nightmare. And even still, I still have that cringy video because you can hear the shake in my voice. It just makes me laugh.
Oh my God. Yeah. My first video, I remember we did it with a regular camera. My son was on the other side of the camera and we were talking about the video and what I was going to say. And the minute the camera went on, my hands stopped moving. My face got stiff. And I'm like, hi, I'm Nancy Ganzikofer. And it was horrible. And he shut the camera off. He's like, what are you doing? What happened? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that I'm articulating my words and that my accent isn't too thick and that I'm smiling at I was a mess. And we even had pieces of paper all around the cameras for the script, where I'm just better without a script. I just want the topic and the riff on it. And that's what I learned about myself by doing it. And that's
Right.
what people have to do. They have to practice and do and
Yep.
fine tune for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, another thing I highly recommend when it comes to your personal brand is developing your elevator speech. You want your elevator speech to be something that just rolls off your tongue with passion and joy and enthusiasm. And I
Yes.
know you help people a lot with that
You
one.
know what? It's funny because I love what you said. It's supposed to roll off your tongue. It's, how do I say it? It's a formula that I teach people, your
Mhm.
business in words. And
Yep.
if you Google elevator pitch interior designer, I believe you're going to come up with my blog and my videos where I teach this. It's a formula of 4 sentences. So you don't have to say it the same way every time. I have
No.
people do the exercise, but just know the formula so that when you get caught off guard, asked a question, what do you do for a living? You don't just sit there and go, I'm an interior designer, because you know that doesn't help. People just go, oh, I wish I could afford you. Or, oh, that must be so much fun. Have a brand, have an elevator pitch, have your business in words so you can join any conversation and be remembered for your passion.
For your passion. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yep. And then the next thing I would say is start to build and nurture your network. Who are your people? Who are your community? Who do you have? This doesn't have to be potential clients, but this has to be people. I mean, I would look for people that you resonate with, that you align with, that have
Yes.
similar values and things like that, who also have the ear of your potential client. I have people that I've networked with that are on my email list. They've been on my email list for years. They're not clients, but they're some of my best refers because we've nurtured that relationship and we've built that up. And
Yes.
so, and I would say you and I have that similar thing. If somebody's looking for a business coach firsthand, I'm going to think of you because I know that you have the power to help them.
Yes.
So think about that. Don't just go strategically to a networking event and be like, who will hire me tonight? It's not all about that
No.
at all. It's about who can I make connections with that are going to be real and lasting and help me stand out as a brand.
Yeah. And based on your actual personality and your actual brand, not who you're trying to be, right?
Mhm.
Be the
Absolutely.
best version of yourself for your brand.
Be the best version of yourself or your brand. Absolutely.
Right? So
100%.
everyone's got multiple sides of their personality. And yes, you want the best version of yourself to be out there for your business side. Very important, but you got to get in touch with who is the best version of myself. And I'll just give one final thing. That's through all your tips, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times when they're creating their brand, their elevator pitch, their business in words, I'll tell them to go to past testimonials and read what the clients are saying about you to come up with the adjectives that describe you. And
Yes.
people say a lot of different adjectives, all good, but once in a while there's an adjective that you go, okay, I've got 5, I only need 3 for my business in words, for my elevator pitch. Don't choose that one. Like, the best version of yourself. So one
Right.
client may say certain things about you that are great, but it's not exactly what you want to put out there. Everyone can describe themselves in many different adjectives. Choose the ones that are appealing for the people who are hiring you, but don't make up adjectives if they really don't represent who you are as a person,
Right. No,
just because you think someone
and
wants to hear it.
yeah, I love that tip because honestly, one of the things I hear the most or read the most in testimonials is I felt like I was working with my best friend. Teresa was so easy to get along with. I felt like I was working with my best friend. I knew she had my back. And that's exactly what I want to portray. I want to be out there to support people. I know what it's like to be alone trying to build a business and struggle and be in that solo entrepreneur. I mean, I just launched a whole podcast about that, because
Yes.
it's a struggle and it's a lonely road sometimes. And so I want to be that friendly face in the crowd that people are like, "Hey, I know she can help me. She's got my back." And it doesn't mean they have to hire me for a website. I just want to have their back and
Yeah.
support them in the best way that I can where they're at in their business at this moment. So
Love it.
goes
Love
back
it.
to the thing. Branding is about you as a person. It's not about your colors, your logo, how your social media feed looks. Nobody cares about those things. Honestly, you care way more than anybody else does. It's about you and how you show up and what people say about you when you leave the room.
Yes, what they say about when you leave the room. I love that. So, all right, Teresa, tell everyone where to find you and what you can help them with.
All right. So I help with branding, web design, and digital marketing after the launch of your website, which could be blogging, portfolio, write-ups, all of those kinds of things. You can find me at the caffeinecreative.io. And if you're in the DIY world and you're still working to do it yourself, I have a huge Caffeine Creative vault of courses and resources that will help you and support you in a lot of ways, because I'm a big firm believer in sharing my knowledge for free. Not my one-on-one time, but my knowledge. So you can find all of that on my website, in my blog, in the vault. You can find all in the new podcast that I'm launching, all of those things I have got out there.
So excited to be listening to your podcast, by the way. All right, everyone, go have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Hop over to caffeinecreative.io. Check out her creative vault where she's teaching you how to do things yourself. And then if you need extra help with your website, with branding, with marketing your website after it's launched, please reach out to Teresa. She's amazing. She helps our profit insiders all the time get to where they're going in my program, and she is a great resource to have in your back pocket. So,
Thank you.
all right, Teresa, I will see you next time.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.